2025 has turned into the summer no one expected. The year the U.S. tourism industry faced its worst season in modern history. Imagine walking through New York's Times Square, usually overflowing with tourists, only to see half-empty sidewalks. Picture Orlando's theme parks, once filled with laughter, now eerily quiet. Or think of the hotels along Miami Beach, where thousands of rooms now sit dark and unoccupied. But the big question is, why is this happening? Why is the country that once defined the idea of a dream vacation suddenly struggling to attract visitors? And perhaps the bigger question, can America recover? Let's break it all down.
Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell so you never miss an update. Let's start with the numbers, and trust me, they're shocking. In 2019, before the global pandemic changed the world, nearly 80 million international travelers visited the United States. They filled up hotels, ate in restaurants, spent money on tours, shows, and attractions. Tourism was one of America's most powerful industries, generating over $1.1 trillion in economic activity. Fast forward to 2025, and the picture looks very different. The U.S. has lost more than 30% of its international tourists compared to 2019. That's tens of millions of people who simply didn't show up. Cities that once relied heavily on summer tourism are now facing occupancy rates as low as 40%. Airlines are cutting routes, restaurants are closing their doors, and local businesses are feeling the ripple effect. This isn't just a dip. It's the kind of collapse that sends shockwaves through the economy. For every empty hotel room, there's a housekeeper without work. For every canceled flight, there's a business trip that never happened. For every tourist who skips the U.S., there's a shopkeeper who loses a sale. So the question is, why are tourists avoiding the U.S. in 2025? Reason number one, high costs. Let's be honest, traveling to the U.S. has become extremely expensive. Airfare prices are higher than ever, hotel rates have climbed to record levels, and even basic expenses like dining out are costing visitors double what they'd spend in other countries. A family that might have once chosen Orlando's Disney World is now realizing they can enjoy an entire week in Mexico with luxury hotels and all-inclusive meals for half the price. Reason number two, safety concerns. Another major issue is safety. Rising crime in several major cities has scared families away. Whether it's viral social media clips of thefts in San Francisco, subway crime in New York, or reports of shootings, these stories spread fast and leave lasting impressions. For many international travelers, the risk simply doesn't feel worth it. Reason number three, the visa process. Getting a visa to the U.S. has never been easy, but now in 2025, it's one of the toughest processes in the world. Long wait times, strict interviews, and endless paperwork discourage travelers. Compare this to destinations like Thailand or Turkey, where you can often get a visa online in minutes, or even arrive without one, and the U.S. just doesn't compete. And finally, there's the issue of competition. Countries across Asia, Europe, and South America have stepped up their tourism game. Japan is investing billions in its travel infrastructure. Mexico is offering affordable luxury packages. Even smaller countries like Albania, Georgia, and Vietnam are going viral on TikTok and Instagram, pulling in millions of tourists looking for unique, budget-friendly adventures. At the end of the day, travelers want value plus experience. And right now, the U.S. simply isn't delivering that combination. But let's step away from the statistics for a moment and talk about the human side of this crisis. In Orlando, a family diner that once served 500 customers a day now struggles to bring in even 50. The owner says he's had to let go of half his staff just to stay afloat. In Las Vegas, hotels that once lit up the desert sky are dimming their lights and quietly laying off hundreds of workers. Tour guides in New York City, people who've made careers showing tourists around landmarks like Central Park and the Empire State Building, say they haven't seen crowds this small since the days after 9/11. For millions of Americans, this isn't just a slow summer, it's their entire livelihood at stake. Behind every empty hotel room is a maid who lost her paycheck. Behind every quiet restaurant is a chef who had to close his kitchen. Behind every canceled tour is a guide who can no longer support their family. The collapse of tourism isn't just the economic chart, it's a human tragedy. And while the U.S. is struggling, other countries are booming. Japan is seeing record-breaking arrivals, with streets in Tokyo so crowded that officials are discussing new tourist regulations. Mexico's resorts are overflowing with international guests, many of whom used to choose Florida or California for their vacations. Even smaller countries like Albania, Georgia, and Vietnam are going viral on TikTok and Instagram, pulling in millions of tourists looking for unique, budget-friendly adventures. This is the global shift of tourism in action. Travelers are no longer chasing the American dream vacation. Instead, they're chasing destinations that feel unique, affordable, and most importantly, shareable on social media. Viral videos of Bali's rice terraces or Greece's sunsets spread across TikTok and Instagram, pulling millions of tourists to places that were once off the radar. The U.S., once considered the default vacation spot, is being replaced by new, exciting alternatives. So, the big question, can America bounce back from this? Experts say yes, but only if drastic changes are made. First, the U.S. needs to lower travel costs and create affordable packages for both domestic and international tourists. Second, safety must be improved in big cities. Visitors need to feel welcomed and protected. Third, America has to rethink its marketing. Gen Z and millennials aren't drawn in by the same old brochures about Times Square or Hollywood. They want authentic experiences, hidden gems, and cultural depth. And finally, America has to make tourism accessible again. Right now, it feels like a luxury only the wealthy can afford. If the U.S. wants to reclaim its throne as the world's top travel destination, it must prove that travel here is worth it for everyone. The U.S. tourism crash of 2025 might just be the wake-up call the country needs. Recovery is possible, but only if America takes action. If not, we could be witnessing the beginning of a long decline, where the golden age of American tourism becomes nothing more than a memory. So, what do you think? Can the U.S. recover from its worst summer ever? Or is its era as the world's top travel destination officially over? Comment your thoughts down below, smash that like button, and don't forget to subscribe because we'll be covering the biggest global shifts shaping our future.